It's Mr. Fantastic here. I want to talk a little bit about, back up, good boy, back up, good boy, good. I want to talk a little bit about, there's a fly on the camera, pressure and release. And I've got a lot of questions lately on training stuff, and I get a lot of questions on training stuff, and I see stuff here and there, and I haven't seen it for a little while though, but you know, the questions about pressure and release come up an awful lot. And in the live stream, I think that I did, I talked about pressure and release. I don't know how many people saw it, but for anybody who did see it, this conversation is going to seem very familiar. But the one thing that I can say for sure, I'm going to start this off with, is that pressure and release training is sometimes called negative reinforcement, but which is because we are giving pressure, it becomes what's referred to as negative reinforcement. And then there's the positive reinforcement where you give the cookies and all kinds of stuff like that. But because pressure and release has become only pressure and release, it is negative reinforcement. And there's a mantra that is going around that release of pressure, back up, is the reward. I released all my pressure off him, it's a reward. And reward is connected to positive reinforcement training. The problem with the pressure and release is reward is that it is not reward, unequivocally. It has nothing to do with rewarding a horse. When you let go of the pressure, if I say back up and I release, that's not a reward. A reward is telling them thank you and have some appreciation, or maybe you apologize for putting so much pressure on or something like that, and you get what I would refer to more as a bit of a draw, you know, because you are appreciating, because you are saying thank you, because you are saying I really like how you got there. But if I give pressure and say back up, release, and then I want to be able to reach, and I want him to reach for me. If I go over here, I want him to come and look over. So if I say back up, release, to inform him that I'm not going to give any more pressure because he's done something, but I want to also follow through with thank you. I really appreciate you backing up. It means a lot to me. And for me, that missing bit at the end that gets repeated over and over and again in the horse world about pressure and release is reward, is the downfall of good horsemanship, in my opinion. Sorry, I'm only going to say it as mine. I'm not trying to claim this as anybody's thought process, or I'm putting this on anybody. It is solely my thought process that I think it's bad horsemanship to think that a release is reward. And to finish there is an insult to the horse from a human's perspective. It's not like you see horses running around saying thank you all the time, but we have to have a little bit of a different relationship with them, and let them know that we're appreciative through certain things, through things that make sense to them. And of course, because we have to push them around and get them to do all kinds of stuff, then we have to sort of make up for that, I think, and continue to build a relationship as a two-legged predator and a four-legged prey animal, to say, look, I really, really am happy with what you've done, and let them know in no uncertain terms how utterly amazing they are. And I think that's the way to build a good relationship with a horse, a good relationship during training. And it will end up where you get the horse to do something, and when you're done doing it and you release, they'll gravitate towards you hoping for that thank you. And instead of, going away from you because they're tired of you bugging them or something like that. Yes, you are a very good boy. You have no idea how good of a boy you are. You're the most amazing boy ever. And that kind of stuff, that feeling, it's good for them. And in fact, it's very good for you too, to be able to say to them, you're great. You're really cool. But we never, ever, ever, and I never try to teach, pressure and release training thought process without pressure, release, appreciation, draw. We want to get something that says to them, thank you. I appreciate you for listening to the things that I have to say. And the best way that I sort of ended up explaining it to somebody, a couple people even, is that if we were to refer to pressure and release is the reward, it wouldn't be any different than if we had a friend and we said, hey, can you do something for me? And they didn't do it. And they would say, can you do something for me? And you get madder and madder, and they finally do it, and you just be quiet. And you think, nobody's ever going to think that that is a reward to the person who you've asked to do something. Imagine if you just because you're quiet, you're doing them a favor, you're rewarding them with your quietness. But instead, if you said, geez, sorry I had to get so frustrated, or sorry I was so frustrated, thank you very much for helping me out or doing that task that I asked you to do, then maybe next time there won't be so much trouble, and you could even build a relationship a little stronger for it. So that's what I think. It's out there. Hopefully that's been interesting. This guy's been doing great. We've had a lot of fun training today. We've got the drone out and everything. So he's really coming along. And he's a snuggle bug so far. He does get scared though, don't you? You do get scared. He came a little close to kicking. Didn't you? You were a little worried. You thought maybe you were in big trouble. I know, you weren't. Maybe you were a little. Okay, that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next one.